Well, we are just an amazingly wide commission, and fortunately, I don't do all the work. There are commission heads or there are committee heads as well as staff that do this. We have everything from criminal and legal justice to cherishing creation and everything in between. And I chair the commission meetings, which are once a month, but most of the actual work takes place within the committees that are formed. Typically, we have a speaker come in to talk to us about something. So recently, we've had the director of the county health department come in and talk about the issue with the heat and the heat respite needs. We've had a legislator come in who used to be part of our organization tell us what he knows now that he wished he knew back then. And that's so maybe 20 minutes of that, and then we hear out from staff and anything that's going on and just general information.
So I am, as a Southern Arizona community organizer, really settled in Tucson to build relationships, to see who is doing work down there, who is working together down there, and then how can we at Arizona Faith Network best support their efforts in whatever that looks like. We do have specialized things that we care for, and so it is about organizing the different faith expressions to support our work as well. But first and foremost, it is meeting and eating, because Tucson is a culinary destination, and building relationships, and it's been absolutely fantastic. It's a wonderful community that is passionate about interfaith work and passionate about growing.
The Voting Rights Committee has been meeting monthly, and we've been working with poll workers, poll monitors, and with AFN and our network, pastors, priests, rabbis, imams, the community members coming together to protect the polls during our election season. I've been working with the Voting Rights Committee doing press conferences at the Arizona State Capitol. We've been doing educational resource efforts to help the community understand why it's important to vote and why we should protect our polls in Arizona. I believe people of faith should care about democracy protection because that is our cherished right. We're all supposed to exercise the right to vote, and if people of faith do it, then others will. We're mostly the impact of our communities. When people are in trouble, when there's issues that arise within the government or within our state, most go to faith communities and support. And so if we're on the same page and we're working together, then so the community will come and work as well. Arizona's culture of political violence, unfortunately, we've seen a lot. In Arizona, we've seen people at the polls that were threatening violence to those who are exercising the right to vote. We've seen intimidation, we've seen voter intimidation, we have seen tactics to stop people from cherishing their right to vote. And so our job with AFN, as well as other organizations, is to make sure that we are eliminating these tactics that have presented in our community through extremists. And we want to make sure that the community knows that there are people there to support them peacefully at the polls, to create peace, to have a peaceful atmosphere, and to be able to vote. AFN's Voting Rights Committee has been keeping our community alert on the bad democracy bills that have been pushed out. We have gotten Governor Hobbs has vetoed many of these anti-democracy bills through our community, writing letters, placing phone calls, and making sure that she is vetoing the plethora of bills that we have seen that have been coming against our democracy. My new role is the Election Protection Director statewide with Arizona Democracy Resource Center as well as Arizona Faith Network. Holding this space has been an incredible opportunity for me. It's where we're gathering communities and organizations together to make sure that we are protecting the polls. We work with lawyers, national groups. We've got the hotline numbers. We have volunteers throughout the valley who want to make sure that our polls are protected as we're seeing threats now before we're even in the year 2024. We're preparing ourselves to go against those threats and hopefully to stop them from affecting our polls. I believe Arizona Faith Network's work makes a difference because we are for people, all people in communities. We are for faith communities. We really have seen an impact on the work we've done, from heat relief to social justice. It has since I've been a child, really, I've known of the work that Arizona Faith Network has done. And it's great to be part of a company that has, or an organization that has longevity, and that also has, you've seen what this organization can do. You've seen the impact that it has through our centers and through peace at our polling places as well. You can join the Voting Rights Committee, or if you're interested in poll monitoring, by going to our website, arizonafaithnetwork.org. If you see me in the crowd, say hi.
So here at AFN, one of our committees is around criminal justice reform. And so we kind of formed this criminal justice reform team, which is our CJRT. And it's made up right now roughly about 8 to 9 folks, different walks of life, from a former director with corrections to a number of attorneys, directly impacted folks. And, the team comes together. It's like AFN's, own think tank. And yeah, we have a bat cave. And so, we are able to come together and look at policies that impact folks, set up educational workshops, and then also, discuss ways that we can actively advocate for folks, or get involved advocating for folks. Some of the changes that need to happen here in Arizona, we over the years, we've advocated for, a shift in the culture. The culture here is still punitive. So even with, bipartisan support for second chances, no matter what it's called or named, whether it's First Step Act or a number of different second chance initiatives, the reality of it is there's bipartisan support for change to happen. The agreement is how much change, where people start to have issues with. So the work we do is it's really simple, it's complex, it's just getting people in the room to have these discussions over food. And, I'm one who always believes that anytime you have food, hey, if you're not going to get along over food, you're probably not going to get along over anything else. But, our role here at AFN is to really bring folks in, have those tougher, or build those relationships so we can have those tougher conversations. So, that's our criminal justice reform. So the theme of our annual gathering this year is building bridges, breaking barriers. And one of those significant bridges that was built this year was with the Arizona Department of Corrections, Rehabilitation, and Reentry. And we were able to get the director out into the community for the first time ever in Arizona, and just really look at how we can impact some of the policy changes that needs to happen. We are supportive in the director's vision with changing the culture and have more rehabilitative programs inside of the prison, and not just have people marinating and punishing. So, that would be barrier breaking, is to really have these programs implemented. And so when they reach, the community, and folks start the reintegration, they have some solid skills to build on. They have a number of organizations and faith communities who are supportive of them. And so we can move this real second chances forward for folks. I am the founder of the Arizona Village. The Arizona Village was, it's a network of directly impacted folks, family members, direct service providers. And so when an individual comes out, we actually, we have an inside joke calling ourselves reentry first responders. So we really run to folks and see how we can assist them. And so, we're always in a great appreciation, because AFN has been a home for me for years. I was even more appreciative when, I was even more appreciative when AFN decided to be the fiscal sponsor of the Arizona Village, so we can continue to do our work and grow. And we will look to commission this year officially. The biggest win for AFN as a whole was to really have the impact it had a number of policy changes. We're not out there boasting and bragging on what we've done. So I'm not going to name everything we've done, but we have the attention of a number of officials, more than we had last year. The expansion of heat relief cooling centers, our impact on policy changes around food with the Department of Corrections, and then just the opportunity for them, for correction officials to get out into the community and see what's going on in real time. AFN makes a difference in people's lives because we provide a platform where we are looking at engaging a number of different issues, however, keeping our balance on what's being thoughtful of what's ethical, and just remaining active through a lens of justice.
Cherishing Creation is a subcommittee of the Social Justice Commission, but we zero in on environmental issues. And of course, I have learned over the years that everything is an environmental issue. When you think about it, social justice, environmental justice, criminal justice, domestic violence, problems with health, all of these things are somehow related to the environment. Struggles over scarce resources have been part of our history for eons. There are those who have the power over our resources and those who lack power over our resources. Many of them marginalized communities that don't have a place at the table and don't have a say about the dirty air in their community or the dirty water in their community or the lack of nutritious food in their community, the lack of transportation in their communities. And all of these are in some way related to the environment. So what Creation Care attempts to do is to have conversations about all of these issues and how they all intersect with the environment. We also advocate for better transportation, cleaner transportation. We have partners that we talk with and work with on those kinds of issues. We have also worked with protecting more beautiful places in our state and even out of state, to protect them for generations to come. For example, one of the achievements this year with the support of the Creation Care Committee and involvement from our wonderful staff has been to help bring the word about a new Grand Canyon National Monument, which will protect many more acres surrounding that precious, precious resource, one of the wonders of the world, and keep it, manage it, and bring diverse voices into managing it, including our Native American communities, for which these lands are very sacred.
So when this was declared, it was a major victory for the indigenous leaders of Arizona. It was a victory for religious freedom, practice for all people to ensure that their religion is protected in the United States. And it was a huge victory for our Cherishing Creation Collaborative. This sacred land work has been going on for ages, and we are so proud that this has come to fruition in such a unique, diverse way. It was a tribally led effort. The 13 Grand Canyon area tribes were the leaders on this, and we had the privilege of getting to stand behind them and walk with them to call on President Biden to declare the monument. I believe that AFN is the bridge builder and barrier breaker in Arizona. We have the ability to bring together diverse voices across the state in ways that command respect and dignity and remind folks of the sacredness of life that we are all living into, and we're able to have the tough conversations.
Well, we all know our world has gotten more and more divisive. And in Arizona, that's certainly true, and we have a lot of opinions going on. And I think a lot of times people are talking past each other and not listening, not trying to understand. And I think that's a role that AFN can play in bringing candidates together, or just education kind of meetings, so that there's understanding. The Social Justice Commission meets on the first Thursday of every month at 8:30 in the morning. It is on Zoom, so you don't need to come into a meeting. You just need to sign up on the AFN website, and you'll be sent the link.
So I am the chair, the staff chair for our Hunger and Housing Committee, and still looking for an interested party from our community to join me in that co-chair role. The Arizona Faith Network has a history of dedicating our time to meaningful relationships and partnerships. And with our Hunger and Housing Committee over the last year, we have cultivated relationships with over 36 local, state, and faith-based organizations, with a goal for us to address food apartheid and always hoping to seek to eliminate housing insecurity in our amazing state. And we do this through deep reflection, relationship building, storytelling moments that are rooted deeply in our reflection and of our faith traditions and what we are called to do. We do this by providing educational outreach opportunities in the forms of community and committee meetings, advocacy opportunities with local and state governments through faith leaders and political officials. And then finally, we seek to build bridges with grassroots and community-led organizations to the varying faith communities, to varying statewide institutions that are focused on hunger and housing right here in this great state of Arizona. So if you're interested in becoming a part of our Hunger and Housing Committee, we have some really special work coming up in 2024. We can't stop and just celebrate the great efforts we've had this year. So please check out our website or even our Arizona Faith Network Faith Forum to learn more, because we believe, at least in the Hunger and Housing Committee, that this is how you break barriers. We reach across all of our creation to plant seeds, to cultivate relationships, and to harvest the dignity of all living creatures on this great planet of ours. So we here at the Arizona Faith Network know that you cannot claim to serve the people of Arizona from just the Valley of the Sun alone. We recognize the need to grow into and support networks that are beyond our 5th largest city. And I'm honored to be a part of this. I'm honored to be a part of the Southern Arizona Community Organizing Region. Also representing the Old Pueblo is what I've learned that we call Tucson, with the issues that impact this particular region. Our goal is to continue to cultivate relationships. Our goal is to continue to cultivate relationships through interfaith engagement and dialogue, as well as healing of the world through our collaborative social action. So if you are ever here in Southern Arizona and you want to help us build bridges and break down barriers of injustice, check out our website, find some time to schedule with me, and as always, we're going to go grab some food and get to know each other. This past summer, Arizona Faith Network has embarked into very difficult and enlightening conversations addressing the impacts of religious nationalism in America. Our first series was on Christian nationalism and held in partnership with groups like the Joint Baptist Committee, Secular Arizona, Arizona Poor People Campaign, and a number of thought leaders who have been engaging in combating Christian nationalism's impact on our soul and spirit of every single living person in this country. This series will continue to grow over 2024 as we examine nationalism in each of our faith expressions. We do this through educational webinars and classes. We'll be engaging in in-person trainings, and we are creating a liturgical resource library that we can explore the impacts of religious nationalism through art and embodiment practices. And we hope that you are here to join us in these difficult conversations. It's an invitation for each of us to be curious, to be challenged. And finally, it's a goal for us to heal the brokenness of our world.
Well, although AFN is multi-faith, I think there's still more opportunities to reach out to other traditions, to reach out to different branches of Christianity, and just, again, do the dialogue, build those bridges so that we can work together. Because even though we may have different ways of worshiping, we all have a concern for our fellow human beings. And I think that's the work where AFN can kind of put aside the political issues and the political name tags and just get the work done and have an understanding going on.